This is your last call for My Wife the Dietitian. The show is just about to start.
Come on, let's go. Hurry up.
I'm trying. I can't get my shoe on.
Welcome to My Wife the Dietitian, a fun weekly podcast about nutrition and healthy lifestyle. I'm Rob, and together with my wife Sandra, we invite you to join us on this informative and entertaining journey through the complex world of healthy eating.
Join us each week as we strive to help you with transforming your overall health and relationship with food through up-to-date, evidence-based nutrition information.
So your doctor tells you you've got to lower your cholesterol. Apparently your HDLs are too high and your LDLs are too low. Or is it the other way around? And then there's the triglycerides. What the heck is that stuff? It can be pretty confusing. Today we answer a listener's question all about cholesterol, what we should be eating, what we should be avoiding, the difference between dietary cholesterol and blood cholesterol, and what all those crazy terms mean. Stick around, it's a good one. Enjoying the show? You can help others find it and enjoy it too by giving us a 5-star rating or review. If you feel like reaching out to us with a question or comment, you can send us an email at mywifetherd@gmail.com. And don't forget to visit our website at mywifethedietitian.com, as well as our social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Enjoy the show. Welcome to My Wife the Dietitian. Hello, Sandra.
Hello, Rob.
How's it going?
I'm happy there was a listener question today.
Oh, yeah. We love those listener questions.
Yeah. And this one is one that I hear often because it's a very common issue. What are the best foods to eat to lower cholesterol?
Oh, classic.
I know.
I can't believe we haven't done that yet.
I know. I mean, we've talked a lot about it in different episodes, but not that specific.
That's a very patient listener. They're like, geez, you guys, you've done like 200 episodes and you haven't done one on cholesterol.
Right. Well, we did one on fats, grease, and oil, and that was episode 23.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah, that
Did
was
we talk about
original.
cholesterol? That's a confusing topic. I find anytime the talk about cholesterol, you got to get out like the whiteboard and you draw diagrams and there's all of these like little codes for what the terms mean, and you know, it's a confusing one. So
we'll keep it pretty user friendly.
Well, that's my job is to make sure it's user friendly, because if I don't understand it, nobody else will.
Right. Because we did get into the chemistry part of things in the fats, grease, and oil in terms of saturated and unsaturated fats, so the difference and all that. But
exactly.
We won't get into that in that detail with this. But the thing is, with cholesterol, the World Health Organization has estimated that 39%, almost 40% of the population in the world have fatty deposits and high cholesterol.
Really?
That's almost one in two. It's 40%. It's a lot.
And that's not a good thing. I mean, is like, at what point does it become dangerous? Like that stat, does that mean that, oh my God, we all got to like run out and change things? Or is it like, do you know what I'm saying? Like
that's an interesting question. We know that the reason that so many people have elevated cholesterol levels, it's based on age, diet, lifestyle, and genetics. So there's a lot of reasons, and we know, like, just talking to people and what they're eating and how they're living their life, it's
not surprising.
It's not surprising.
No, it's not surprising. I find stats, though, I take them with a grain of salt, because like you could have a stat that says
you can increase your cardiovascular disease and blood pressure and stroke risk with a grain of salt, honey.
Oh, that's true too.
I'm just joking.
No, that's absolutely true.
No, I know, it's a saying. I'm just teasing you.
Yeah, you're giving me a hard time. No, but stats, like you could say 30% of the population is overweight, but that overweight group includes people that are 1 pound overweight and people that are like hundreds of pounds overweight, so that it all, do you know what I mean? So it's nice to sort of break the stat down to understand how extreme or how.
Yeah, good point.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. Actually, it's 12% that have high, like dangerously high levels.
Oh, okay. You know more detail about it. Perfect. I thought we were going down a rabbit hole here, and you were going to roll your eyes at me.
We already started a rabbit hole because I want to answer the listener's question, and we didn't even get to it yet.
Oh, well, that's because I'm here.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. The listener's question is, what are the best foods to eat to lower cholesterol? And my assumption here is they probably got a blood cholesterol panel, like they got their lab work done, and their doctor said, oh, you need to see a dietitian, or you have to change your lifestyle to reduce your cholesterol. And then people are like, well, what does that mean? How do I do that? Is it, low fat diet? Oh, I have to do low fat. That's kind of in the 90s. Like that's what everybody suggested, right? Low fat.
You know what would be interesting is what my answer would be to that. And it probably wouldn't be much different.
Your answer to the doctor?
No, to what would I have to do? Like if I got that diagnosis, it's not it's that results, we'll call it, and I didn't have you to help me out, I would just think, okay, I got to eat less fatty foods.
Right.
Right. And that's probably partly right, but I'm guessing there's a lot of things, other things to it.
Yes.
Okay.
There totally is. Yeah. Or I can't eat eggs.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because eggs are they're like a little cholesterol bomb. That's what people think, right? Oh my God, eggs. They're just like loaded with cholesterol. You can't eat them. You got to like take the yolk out and like bury it in your yard. And it's just so bad for you. Right?
Right. But we know that so dietary cholesterol and blood cholesterol are different. And so egg is dietary cholesterol. So this was something in our food.
Okay.
And it's actually the saturated fat in our food that affects our cholesterol levels and not the dietary cholesterol in food.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So that the egg, it has nothing to do with fat then.
Well, there's a little bit. There is some fat in the egg, but the egg and we did an episode on eggs, remember?
Oh, yeah.
A whole episode.
It was the cholesterol that we were concerned about with eggs, though, not the fat in the egg.
Right, because you get your cholesterol level done, and obviously you think cholesterol, what foods are high in cholesterol? I think that's what people do, is they naturally will Google or they'll look, what foods are high in cholesterol? Because that's going to make my cholesterol go up. But we know that it's actually the saturated fat and the type of fat that can increase your cholesterol.
And is that on the food label? Isn't it on the nutrition facts label, cholesterol? I could have sworn I've seen it on there. And I wonder if there's like certain foods that have it, they'll list it. Maybe. Do you know what I'm saying? Does that ring a bell? And I'm wondering if that would be the dietary cholesterol, if it is the cholesterol. You're just giving me this puzzled look, like, what the heck are you talking about?
Do you remember where we get cholesterol?
Animals.
Exactly. There's no cholesterol in plant foods.
No, exactly.
But we're going down a rabbit hole a little bit because I want to talk a little bit about why we need cholesterol.
Okay. I'll just sit quietly over here and let you talk.
No, that's okay. No, I like the questions. It's great. Do you think we need cholesterol?
I'm guessing we do, based on what you just said. That's kind of a trick question.
Did you know that out of all of our cholesterol in our body, 25% of cholesterol is in our brain?
Well, you need fat for your brain, right?
Yeah.
Is that related then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the brain is 2% of total body weight, of your total body weight. So for you, that's like 3.5 pounds.
Wow.
Is your brain. Yeah. So that's just an
maybe
interesting...
4.
Depends on the day, right?
I live with you, and it's been loaded with all sorts of stuff over the last 30 years or whatever I've known you.
2% of your total body weight, though. That's a number. Anyways, so we do need cholesterol for the cell membranes. In all our cells, the cell membrane is made up of cholesterol.
Okay.
And hormone production. So what are some hormones that we have that all people have. Testosterone,
Oh, there's one.
estrogen,
There's another one.
progesterone,
Yeah.
cortisol.
Right. You're good. You know this stuff. Yeah.
There's another one that helps regulate our blood pressure and electrolytes, and that's aldosterone.
Oh, I was going to get that one.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was saving that one.
And vitamin D is actually another hormone in our body that
Really?
we need cholesterol.
It's a hormone?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a vitamin
interesting.
and a hormone.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. And do you remember we did a whole episode on gallbladder?
Oh, the one with gallbladders, biles, and smiles?
Yes, that's the one. Yeah. So we talked all about the fact that cholesterol is part of the bile production, and it helps with absorbing the fat-soluble vitamins, such as
A, D, E, and K.
you got
There
it,
we
fat-soluble vitamins. So yeah, we do need cholesterol, and our body makes cholesterol. And when you get your blood panel done, they're going to look at a couple different levels. So we've talked a little bit about the LDL.
And the HDL.
Yeah, and the triglycerides. So those are all different cholesterol.
Components? Maybe?
Yeah, it's like the way they're packaged.
Okay.
So LDL is
Lousy.
low. Yeah, but
or
it's the
low.
low density lipoprotein, and high HDL is high density lipoprotein.
Oh, okay. That's what it stands for.
Yeah. And so the LDL, the lousy, it goes around and it deposits cholesterol and fatty deposits into our body. That's where we get the plaque in the arteries
Right.
from too much LDL, the lousy, too much LDL.
Okay.
The HDL, the high density lipoprotein, is the healthy or the happy. Is a good
Oh, I like that
way
one.
to think
The
of it.
happy one.
Yeah.
The lousy and the happy.
And it's like the garbage trucks.
Oh, right.
It goes around and it takes all the fat to the liver.
All the fat?
Or,
Or
oh, sorry,
all
the
LDLs?
cholesterol.
Does it pick up the LDLs? No. Okay.
It picks up. Let's not get too down the rabbit hole of the chemistry and everything. Basically, the HDLs help to take
Bad stuff away.
to the liver
Okay.
because the liver does such a huge job, eh?
It sure does.
It does a
Yeah.
lot.
It's a busy organ.
It sure is. Detoxifying, if you have alcohol, any pesticides, anything in your food, in your environment, your liver is doing a lot of the work, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so if it's trying to deal with all these other toxins, it can't really deal with the fat. Like it can't help
Right.
with
I see.
so then your cholesterol goes up.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Because it's not. So, yeah, that's alcohol. Like if you're drinking alcohol regularly, too often, too much, that can affect your triglycerides, which is tiny little cholesterol packages, triglycerides.
Right. Okay.
And they're really related to refined carbohydrate intake. So
Okay.
if you're eating a lot of
Like white breads, pasta, white flour-based stuff.
crackers.
Oh, crackers.
No,
Yeah.
well, I mean, all these things, right? You're
Oh,
right.
okay.
You got it. So the refined carbohydrates, let's think about, we've talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
Some like whole grains versus,
Refined
yeah.
grains. Right.
Yeah. So if you have a diet that's high refined, and a lot of times what happened in the past is people find out they have high cholesterol and then they're told to go on a low fat diet. And what happens is they go on a low fat, high carbohydrate diet,
Okay.
right? Because they're trying to take out the fat. So then they end up eating a lot of carbohydrates that are refined. And that actually increases your triglycerides. And it can be really damaging to your risk for cardiovascular disease.
Oh, interesting. Mm-hmm. Huh. There you go. It's interesting how it's all related.
I know, eh? It's
Once
so
someone
interesting.
explains it.
Yeah, yeah. So typically for people that have diabetes, maybe they haven't had good blood sugar control.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times their triglycerides are also high. That's a cholesterol reading
Okay.
because remember, if you have high intake of refined carbohydrates
Right.
or simple sugars.
And that's a lot of baked good, like bakery stuff, your donuts and muffins and little things you get at the coffee shop deli kind of counter.
Yep, snack
squares
foods
and all those things.
A lot of breakfast foods. I think we did one on like breakfast swaps kind of. Was there an episode that we did on not like the best foods for breakfast?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of like, sugary cereals, any cereal that has less than 1 gram of fiber per serving.
Right.
Or even like less than 2 grams of fiber, and white bread, crackers, a lot of snack crackers, a lot of like, if you think of what people put in their kids' lunches,
mm-hmm.
If they've got Lunchables, like those little with Ritz crackers or like pretzels.
Yeah.
The snack foods.
The fun foods.
A lot of snack foods.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those, especially if they're packaged, like if you think of, we're not talking about fruits and vegetables here, but we're talking about something that you would, rip open and eat.
Yeah, like little bags of chips or cookies or
you got it, exactly.
Some sort of little snacky thing.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
And anything that has like marketing or claim that says fat free or low in fat, because they take the fat out and then they add
sugar probably.
Yeah,
to make
something
it
to
taste
make
good.
Exactly. Yeah, usually more flavoring and sugar, so it's going to be higher in the refined carbohydrates. So we're not saying that you have to cut out carbs, because we get carbs from whole grains, remember?
Mm-hmm. And from fruits and vegetables.
Exactly. So, yeah. So basically, there's things you can add to your diet to help your cholesterol levels and things you can reduce. So let's talk about what we would add.
Okay. Well, probably whole grains. More whole grains, more fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, and there was something that is really important in those foods.
A fiber.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
Because the fiber, we just talked about this a couple weeks ago. The fiber does something, right?
Yeah.
Like it like you said, the little garbage truck thing. Didn't you use that analogy with fiber too? Maybe.
Yeah. It helps with your bile quality.
Okay.
So it helps your body actually deal with the fats and the cholesterol that is in your system.
Okay.
So with fiber, we know that most people in North America are not getting enough fiber.
Mm-hmm.
So like 95% of the people are not getting enough fiber.
Right.
Do you remember about how much we need?
In grams?
Yeah.
It's like 25 to 30, depending on
Yeah, exactly. A man or woman, men at like 38 grams, women are like 25, 30.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Oh, and you found out the other day that, you can have too much fiber. I remember that conversation.
But not for the reason that you think.
Oh, okay.
I just had like gut rot because I ate so many apples and plums and just so much fruit. And then
Well,
later,
then I said, do you remember, because you asked me that the other day, we did an episode called How to Add More Fiber to Your Diet, Nutrition Nuggets 140, Easy Ways to Add Fiber. And because you had asked me, you said, okay, so most people don't get enough fiber. Can you get too much? And then I kind of said, well, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, you'd know it. And I did know it.
Yeah, you knew it. Yeah, exactly.
It just felt like this brick in my stomach.
Yeah. Or it can be like you end up running to the washroom too often, or
I did eventually, but
yeah. It's just, or the balance of what type of fiber. Remember we talked about soluble and insoluble?
Yeah, right.
And there's research to show that soluble fiber, and that's why oats were so popular for helping cholesterol. You've heard that in the past, right? Oats will help with your cholesterol level.
I think I've heard that, yeah. Sort of sounds familiar.
You have. Of course you have.
Okay, I have. I just don't recall. How about that? It's in there somewhere.
On the...
I can't remember all of these things.
on the Cheerios box, and they have a claim about...
sort of, maybe.
And they have a heart.
My vault's upstairs here. It's overflowing. It's like one of those filing cabinets. Got so much stuff in it. There's stuff coming out of it. So it's in there somewhere. I know I filed it in there.
You're funny.
I just can't recall offhand.
No, you'll be making breakfast and you'll be like, oh yeah, of course, I knew this. This is why I have oats.
Okay.
Soluble fiber. Yeah. So oat bran is good too, but the fruit that you just mentioned that you had a lot of the other day, really good for soluble fiber. Apples, pears, plums, really good.
Aren't they both?
Yeah, they are. Most
okay.
most foods are both because especially if you have the skins, that's the insoluble fiber.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, we want to increase the amount of fiber, right?
Right.
Okay. And we want healthy fats.
Right. Because before they didn't really differentiate. Like back in the low fat diet era in the 90s, I don't think they differentiated between the different kinds of fat.
That's right.
And it was just fat.
You got it. There's a lot of women that I see that still are afraid to eat nuts and seeds because they're too high in calories, too high in fat.
Crazy.
And those are healthy fats. That's what we want to increase.
Yeah,
we want to add some healthy fats. So where would you get those healthy fats?
Avocados always pop into mind.
Yeah.
Nuts and seeds.
Yeah.
The oils, olive oil, all the good oils.
Right.
You know, avocado oil, hemp oil, all those that we use.
Flax oil.
Flax oil.
Yeah, even canola or other vegetable oils and fish.
Fish, right, fish. Let's forget about fish.
Yeah,
but it's a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we want that ratio of we want polyunsaturated fats and monounsaturated fats. So the monounsaturated fats are the olive oil. I think we did an episode on that recently.
We did,
Nutrition Nuggets.
A couple of weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, oleic acid is the fatty acid that olive oil is made up of. And walnuts, flax seeds. So, we want more of the monounsaturated fats. And then the polyunsaturated fats, the omega-3 would be the fish.
Right.
And we don't want a lot of ultra-processed foods that have a ton of oils that are like made with oil, because then that might be too much of the omega-6 type of fat.
Okay.
And those are polyunsaturated fats too. Even though like omega-3 and 6 are both essential fatty acids that we need to get in our diet, typically in the standard North American diet, we get a lot of the omega-6 and not enough of the omega-3. So we need to eat more fish.
Right.
And less of the ultra-processed foods that are made with fats that are stable and, they're stable like shelf life. Those ones tend to be the omega-6s.
Oh, I see. Which is why they use them in all the processed foods?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're kind of stable. So we want more healthy fats, but then, so saturated fat, and we've talked about this before in the fats, grease, and oil episode, they're the long chain fats, the saturated fats. So from beef, butter, dairy, those are saturated fats, right?
Right.
They're fat at room temperature.
They're solid at room temperature.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, when we make the chicken and then if it sits on the counter or after it's been in the fridge, it's solid
on top. Yeah.
Those are saturated fats.
Right.
So we want to try to have more lean meats.
Right.
Right. And then, so we want to get away from having like a high saturated fat diet if you have high LDL and high cholesterol.
So like eating steak every night. That's what you mean, right? Like a diet where someone's eating like a lot of red meat, like a real focus on meat.
Right.
Which a lot of people do, which is probably why there's a lot of people with high cholesterol, because that was kind of that old meat and potatoes kind of meal, and it's just very common still.
Right. And we do know that diet, lifestyle, and age and genetics are factors in causing elevated cholesterol.
Okay.
So the diet part, I mean, everyone's different in terms of what they're eating, but there is a lot of ultra processed foods like we're eating on the run We're eating fast food, greasy, deep fried. Those are also ones that you want to kind of reduce.
Right.
You want to reduce like the deep fried, greasy foods.
Right.
If you have high cholesterol, those are going to not be healthy at all.
That'll be a huge impact.
Yeah. And a lot of those restaurant foods, like if you think of the, say you get a burger, what's the bun?
White bun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There we go. So that's a carbohydrate, but it's a refined carbohydrate. So that's not helpful either. So that's kind of the definition of the standard American diet, right?
The heart attack on a plate too, isn't that what they call it? Like
It's
the
just,
big greasy burger with fries and
right.
yeah. And they're delicious. I love those, but I'm not eating them every night.
And think of our plate ratio.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the vegetables in there?
Yeah, well, you get a slice of tomato maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, a little twig of parsley.
Exactly. It's not half the plate.
No, it's
right?
not. I don't think it's barely any.
Yeah. So it's like you got the greasy burger and then you've got the white bun and you maybe have cheese on that burger, which is more saturated fat, right? And not enough of the fiber. Like there's hardly any fiber in that meal.
Exactly. And there's a reason that hamburgers like that taste so good. It's because they're all the saturated fat in them. That's where all the flavor comes from, right? Is the juice in the burger and the cheese,
exactly.
like all those things.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Not that you shouldn't eat them. We're not saying that those things are bad. Well, they are bad, but they're bad if you eat them all the time. That's kind of the point, right?
If the balance is off, exactly. If you're not eating enough of the fiber, because the fiber can help reduce your cholesterol. That's why we want people to eat more fiber. And so more, if you think of the plant-based proteins, what are those?
Well, beans, for one.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Plant-based, but nuts and seeds.
Yep.
Well, that includes, tofu. We'll just call it tofu, which is soy-based, right?
And that's a plant sterol. And I didn't mention that, but that's another thing to increase. So having soy or tofu or edamame, they have plant sterols, and so do a lot of fruits and vegetables. So you're getting those beneficial plant sterols. And remember, we just did purple foods.
What does that mean, plant sterol?
It's STEROL.
OL, okay.
Yeah. And it is a plant. It kind of mimics cholesterol, but it doesn't allow, like it's a similar structure, but it's a plant food. So your body won't take in the dietary cholesterol, like the animal cholesterol.
Right.
The plant sterol is in there.
It blocks it.
Yeah. It's like a plant chemical. It's a phytochemical.
Cool.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Wow. I'm impressed with how much you know. Seriously, every week we do this and you just like spew information and it's just,
Spew.
You do. It's just, this stuff just comes out of you that we don't ever talk about this. Like, well, actually we do. We talk about this stuff all the time, but it fascinates me how much you know and how easily it just comes out. Because to me, it's completely foreign, a lot of this. But to you, it's just like, it's all common sense. And I mean, I guess that's what you do.
Well,
so
that's why.
Kind of makes sense.
25 years of teaching people about their cholesterol labs. And it's kind of, I don't know, maybe, did we make it more complicated? We'll
bring it back at the end because you don't necessarily need to understand all of this in order to be healthy. All you have to do is pay attention to what the changes need to be.
And you know what? Within 6 to 12 weeks of making these dietary changes, you can see a drop in your LDL. You're lousy. You can get your cholesterol in better order.
In just 6 to 12 weeks.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Sounds like a commercial.
Yeah, like 10 weeks, kind of on average.
Order now.
You're funny. So what's the take-home message? So, listener question, what are the best foods to eat to lower cholesterol? Rob, what are the best foods to eat to lower cholesterol?
Fiber.
Yes, that's the number one, especially soluble fiber.
Fish, fat, like healthy fats.
Yes.
Right? Fish, nuts and seeds. What was the other one on my avocados?
Yeah. Yeah.
What were there was
Olive
another
oil.
Oh yeah, the oils. Good oils. Mediterranean diet.
You
Line diet.
got it.
Really,
oh my gosh,
right?
Totally. Absolutely.
I keep thinking, and we've said this before, every week it seems that the take-home message is the same. Like we're saying that just eating the same things that are healthy are going to cover, it's going to be like the blanket healthy diet.
I know.
And it'll take care of all the things that are going on.
I know. And it's almost a boring message. So it's not that new sexy diet or that new like fad that's coming out like, oh, we just found out. It's kind of like,
well, we could promote it that way. It's all how we say it.
Right. No, I know. I'm just saying that it's interesting, right? Like a lot of the problems with chronic disease and health are related to lifestyle. And it's because we've gotten so far away from how, eating like in nature and just eating from our garden and trying to just not have a ton of packaged foods. So another way to help change your cholesterol for the better is exercise and cardiovascular activity. So aerobic exercise. So what does that mean to you?
That means just like jumping around and running or dancing or cycling or doing something that's moving your body.
Walking.
Versus strength training, lifting weights, pumping iron. Yeah.
I mean, it's all good, but we know that cardiovascular activity can increase your HDL levels, and it helps to reduce your LDL and triglycerides. So one piece of advice that we often give to people who are trying to control their blood sugars better is to have a walk after a meal.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That brings things down. So same thing goes with cholesterol.
There you go.
So if the cholesterol levels, if your LDL, your lousy cholesterol is elevated and your triglycerides are elevated and your HDLs are too low.
And these are all things you'd get from your blood work through your doctor, likely. That would be on the report, right?
Yeah. With the cholesterol.
And he'd say, oh, your cholesterol is too high.
Yeah, exactly. So you mentioned the fiber. Yeah, we want to increase fiber. We want to increase the healthy fats, omega-3 fats, also like the fish, and the plant sterols. So like the vegetables and the soy and the edamame and all those plant foods and the whole grains.
Exactly. Yeah. So those are things to include.
Those are to include. Exactly. Yeah.
And then there's things we need to stop eating in order to lower our cholesterol, right?
No, I never said stop. I never said avoid.
Okay.
And that's really important.
Okay.
It's really important because remember, food is more than just...
More than just fuel?
Yeah, than it represents so much more than just nutrition and just nutrients and just fuel for our body, right?
Well,
what if you're at a family function?
Okay, so what should we say? Reduce?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Limit, reduce, maybe change the proportion if you're having, red meat or like 4, 5, 6, maybe every night of the week. Maybe reduce how much saturated fat you're having. And that includes changing those meats to a lean protein, a leaner meat, leaner protein.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. And then we didn't talk about trans fatty acids, but there's regulations now that trans fatty acids are harmful to our health. So they have been regulated.
By the regulations.
So food companies can't use trans fatty acids. So there's naturally trans fatty acids in some, like in beef, there's a little bit, and in some foods, but it used to be there was a lot in bakery items and other foods.
Right, the trans fats.
Exactly.
That was on the labels all the time.
Margarine.
Zero trans fats. And
yeah. Like, remember how they make trans fats? It's a man-made fat.
Okay.
They basically hydrogenate. Yeah, the process of hydrogenation, and it makes a liquid into a solid.
Okay.
So when you get a stick margarine, where the margarine, it's not butter, but margarine, which is a plant fat, it should be liquid, and people don't want to pour liquid on their toast. They want to spread it.
Right.
So they made margarine, which it was like the stick margarine. It was full of trans fatty acids and hydrogenated fats.
Okay. Yeah.
So now trans fats have been outlawed.
There's a perfect word.
That's not a word.
I like that word. That's kind of the word I was thinking of. I was thinking of the word that would, like when you get kicked out of the kingdom, whatever that's called, banished.
Banished.
They've been banished.
They've been banished. That's right. Yes. And what else do we want to reduce? What about like when we're eating snack foods or pop or
like processed foods?
Refined carbohydrates.
Oh, refined.
Simple sugars. Refined carbohydrates.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Any of those things that we know that affect our blood sugar too, that can affect your triglyceride level.
Right. Interesting. So it's not just about fat, it's also about sugar.
Yeah, because I remember the low-fat craze, people started eating more carbohydrates.
Right.
Low-fat, high-carb.
Yeah.
And that we know is not good.
There you go.
Yeah. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, hopefully. I think I'm a little bit more clear, so.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, and the one other thing that we all need to do is drink more water.
Drink more water.
Keep hydrated.
Yeah.
And I know we've done some episodes recently on hydration and increasing your fluid intake. So that all helps with your bile health too. And you know how important the bile health is.
Well, we did mention that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very important. So, yeah. And having enough fluid and enough hydration will prevent kidney stones, will help with reducing the risk of gallbladder disease. It helps your body just function better. It'll help with bowel health, so you won't be constipated. Hydration is such a key factor in your health.
And it's easy.
And it's easy and free.
At least very inexpensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. We will reference anything we mentioned. There's a few episodes we mentioned. We'll reference those in the show notes as usual. So you can check those out if you want more information about anything we've discussed today. You can also check out our website. There's lots of information there. We've got a great blog. We've got a newsletter we put out once a week as well. Some fun tips, recipes, upcoming shows. Yeah, just a bunch of stuff there that's it's worth checking out. That's free as well. You can sign up for that on the website. It's mywifethedietitian.com. You can also email us your questions like our listener did today. Our email is mywifetherd@gmail.com. We're on social media as well, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Check out our stuff there. You can contact us. You can comment if you wish. Leave us a like, subscribe. All those things are super helpful to us. Share with your friends too. That's also super helpful, as well as rating and reviewing the show. That's keeps things moving forward for us, helps other people find it, lets other people know what you think of the show and if it's right for them. So that's it until Wednesday. We will be back with nutrition nuggets and then another full episode next week. So in the meantime, have a great week, everyone. Thanks for joining us today on My Wife the Dietitian. If you like what you heard, don't be shy. Leave us a comment or review, and be sure to share our podcast with your friends. If you'd like to hear more, hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media pages for updates, episode trailers, and other odds and ends. For more info and links on what we discussed on today's episode, check the show notes. We'll be back next week with another informative and fun-filled episode.